Welcome to Michael Potts F1, everything Formula One, but from a photographer's point of view. Formula One is in the middle of their summer break. This is an opportunity for teams and drivers to not jet off somewhere exotic for a change. This is the perfect time for us to reflect on how the season's gone so far. I'd like to show you the photographs that I've taken during the course of the season and have a look at why these are interesting. If you enjoy discovering Formula One from a photographer's point of view, please do like and subscribe. Ferrari started this year with so much promise. They have been building towards 2022 for some time. Ferrari were not involved in last year's title race, so they're able to devote resources to the new car a lot earlier than the other teams. This allowed them to develop something quite exceptional. They won the first race in Bahrain, and it looked like the season was in their grasp. Mercedes were way off the pace, and Red Bull had engine troubles in Bahrain. Red Bull no longer had a dedicated engine partner, so any engine problems could be a real issue for them. Sadly for Ferrari, things haven't gone the way they were hoping. Head to head, Carlos Sainz versus Charles Leclerc. Charles is currently second in the standings with 178 points. This compares to Carlos Sainz, who's fifth with 156 points. In only 7 races that both cars have finished, Sainz leads that 4-3. However, in qualifying, Charles is up 10-3. And he's been ahead in both of the sprint races. Charles has 5 podiums, including 3 wins and 2 second places. Sainz has 6 podiums, which include 1 win, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds. Charles has 7 pole positions, and Carlos has 1. Carlos Sainz. At the start of the season, it looked like Ferrari was positioning Carlos as being a support driver to Charles Leclerc. He didn't look quite as quick as Charles, and he lost out to him in qualifying in the opening races. He suffered a bit of bad luck, including engine failure and some collisions. However, by Silverstone, he rediscovered his magic, gaining pole position and going on to win a very chaotic race. He wasn't able to build on that, unfortunately, with his car catching on fire in the Austrian Grand Prix, and a chance of a podium going up in smoke. He's had 4 retirements so far, and the engine issues are leaving him in a difficult position. At times, he's been compromised by Ferrari's strategy. My first shot of Carlos is of him celebrating victory at the British Grand Prix. It was his first race win, and you can really see how happy it's made him. I love to shoot the drivers celebrating as they're climbing out of their car. With all the safety elements, such as harnesses and straps, there's always a bit of delay, and the driver can't just jump out of the car. This creates some anticipation as we wait for the driver to emerge. Carlos has a great celebration here. It's full of emotion and joy. The second shot is a bit of a contrast. It's from the following race. Here he is all alone in the paddock, walking back to the Ferrari garage. You can see he's utterly disappointed. The sport can be so cruel like that. He was on for a podium finish. 5th place is not representative of where he should be in the standings. He should be at least 4th, possibly 3rd. So far, he's shown he can compete with Max and Charles on his day, but he needs to start having more of those days in the second half of the year. Charles Leclerc. I've actually been dreading talking about Charles' first half of the year. Initially, I thought it was just bad luck, but surely it's impossible to have this much bad luck. And the more it happens, the more you start to see that there's something else going on at Ferrari. My first shot comes from when things start to unravel at one of Ferrari's home races in Imola. Max outqualifies Charles by a lot. Charles managed to get ahead in the sprint race, but Max easily overtook him to take the win. Then in the proper race, Charles had a terrible start and dropped down to 4th. He then compounded that issue by overdriving the car. He went too deep into the chicane and crashed at Variante Alta. This dropped him to 6th place, where a more conservative approach would have probably got him 3rd or maybe even 2nd place. In this shot, you can see his broken front wing as a result of that crash. In the next race, in Miami, he managed to start on pole position, but Max passed him easily during the race. Even when there was a late safety car, Max managed to control the race for the win. I think these 2 races caused a bit of panic in Ferrari. They started trying a little bit too hard. At the next race in Barcelona, Charles had an engine blowout while leading the race. This again added more pressure on the team. Next up, in Monaco, Charles was leading again, but this time, the strategy in the pit stops was all wrong, and he went from 1st to 4th. At the next race in Baku, he was again leading the race when his engine blew up for the 2nd time. This meant he had to start the next race in Canada from the back of the grid because of engine penalties. In Formula One, you can only have 3 engines for the entire year, and 2 of his have got up in smoke. From starting last, he only managed to get to 5th. This increased the pressure on the team. Another strategical error at Silverstone, the next race, meant that he went from being 1st to 4th. In Austria, it finally came together, and he won only his 3rd race of the year. This shot comes from that win. Max is spraying him from behind. I've tried to shoot this at a very fast shutter speed to capture the champagne spray as sharp as possible. It's a rare moment of joy in what's been a difficult season for Charles, because just when you think he's managed to turn the corner, at the next race, he crashes out from the lead, erasing all of that good work. And then finally, in Hungary, he's again winning the race, and they make an unusual strategic call on tyres that drops him down to 6th place. It's staggering how many opportunities Charles and Ferrari have had to win races this year, and how many unusual ways they found to squander those opportunities when they really didn't need to. Technically, Charles can still win the championship this year. However, he needs to finish ahead of Max in every single one of the remaining races, and he needs a few cars in between them to increase the points gap. It's looking extremely unlikely. Ferrari definitely needs to be focusing on winning in the second half of the year. If not for this season, then as a springboard for next year. They need to learn how to make the right strategic calls under pressure. Thank you for watching my review of Ferrari, midway through the 2022 season. Can Ferrari get it right in the second half of the year? Which races do you think they've got a good chance of winning? And does Charles have any hope in stopping Max? Please let me know in the comments below. In tomorrow's vlog, we'll have a look at Red Bull and try and understand how they keep winning. Thank you so much for watching.